Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tuber. Welcome back. It is your 8th and final Perry Mason Season 2 episode review. It's the last one. Hopefully, we won't have to come back in 2026 for Season 3. Just to be clarified, they have not yet renewed the show for Season 3, this is the last one. But once again, Perry Mason manages to make every season, well, I mean, there's only 2, but they're just future-proofing just in case. They always manage to find a way to end the story off with a little tease of like, it's not like the story has to continue, but it's mainly of like, it's satisfying enough that you don't need to see a season 3. Of course, I would like to see a season 3. But what I will admit is that the finale, while it was good, it didn't accomplish everything that I personally did want to see. It definitely felt a little rushed, and I felt like that certain aspects were kind of dropped at the end just to make it work. And this feels like one of those like cases where you had a great first season or a great first movie, and it's really hard to top it in the follow up. And this was the case where, for me, I mean, we'll talk more about this in the next couple of weeks when we do the season 3 prediction video and then the season 2 review non-spoiler edition. I will say that this season has not sadly reached the heights of the first season, in my opinion. I still thought it was really good. It's still a very strong season of television, but it definitely did not make me, like, when I ended season 1 and went to season 2, like, I was really excited to see where a season 2 can go. Here, I'm like, I would like to see a season 3. What is it going to be the end of the world for me if we don't get to see a season 3? It wouldn't be. It definitely leaves things off kind of closed-ended to the point where, like, if this is the end of Perry Mason, at least of this iteration played by Matt Reese with this with the HBO team behind it, I'm perfectly fine if that is the case. And I'm just curious to see where things will go forward. But right now for this episode, I feel like they still did a really good job of landing the ship. It wasn't a perfect landing. It definitely had some missteps. It definitely did not accomplish everything that this season set up to be. And I feel like this is going to be one of the things where, like, sometimes you get a little bit too big for your britches. Like, for me, I felt like they could have either cut some stuff out of this season overall, or they should have given this a couple more episodes, in my opinion. Or regardless of the case might be, it is what it is, and I still think this was a pretty good finale at the end of the day. So let's go for the butcher recap and talk about this finale for Perry Mason, second season. So we begin. We pick things back up in the law office of one Perry Mason, as you know, now that they kind of determined that, okay, it's not the elder McCutcheon who killed his son. It's the rich lady that Della's kind of been bonding with throughout the entire season. Della's obviously in disbelief. She doesn't believe it. Like, why? Of course, McCullen will deny everything. It's his life on the line. But Perry does point out, like, he literally could have killed me then and there. There's no logistical reason for me to still be alive if he knew that he was caught, which wasn't the case. Might be. And of course, Della's still in disbelief. Drake and his wife show up in the nick of time to tell them that, like, everything they found out in the house of the wife of the rich lady's lawyer, that yes, this was all planned. Now she's the one who orchestrated the entire thing. We have everything. Of course, honestly, right now it's going to be really hard to prove, considering the fact that they have a time crunch. B, Perry's about to get indicted, and C, literally, it's just like, at this point, the trial's not even non-existent at this point. Like, by tomorrow morning, the trial's over. So definitely it's a bit alarming, and it's a bit, like, they have all the pieces they need to really bring this down, but, like, it's just, they don't have the avenue right now. They don't have the opportunity. Perry right now just has to focus on the brothers and see what can be the best accomplished deal they can do for them right now. What is the best case scenario for both of them at this current margin. I want to say we cut to the next day. Perry heads over to the to the courthouse to meet up with the judge beforehand. He tries to plead with him, like, at least give the brothers, like, a little bit more of a win, just like a little sliver of opportunity. Like, don't do it for me, do it for them. Be fair to the justice system. He's still a little bit, like, arrogant as he always is, but he's like, okay, you know what? Give me a moment. Let me read. I'll get back to you. We cut to a little later. Oh, yeah, I forgot. This is also during that opening conversation. That's when Della drops the news to them, like, oh yeah, the DA is being blackmailed. So a lot of his original strategy was altered because they didn't want to drag out the case even further to risk potential leaks coming out of Perry's case. And yeah, so now they have to figure out also a way to, like, maybe get the DA back on their side to be able to unblackmail him, so to speak. So I want to say, yeah. So they're at the judge's room, and the judge does agree. They're like, okay, you know what? We are going to give the brothers at least one more day in trial. This isn't going to be a mistrial. We will give them one more day of deliberation, but the final part will be the gun will be entered into evidence. The part of Perry holding the gun for weeks on end will not be admitted into the court, but they will admit that privately Perry will service a 4-month sentence in jail as retribution for his actions. Perry does agree to it because they buys him a little bit more time to get the photos so they can stop the blackmail and so they can maybe find like a sliver of a choice for the brothers to get something out of it. So they head over to the lawyer to the rich lady's house, who he's already taken care of his wife, who did not OD from the drugs from the last episode. She's just suffering very very powerful aftershocks from it. So she's not dead, but to be honest with you, considering her emotional state and her reaction right now, she should be dead. So Perry, Drake, and Della confront him. They let him know, like, yeah, we know everything. We know what's been going on, and we're giving you an opportunity to, like, help us out, so to speak, because we will take you guys down since we got that extra day in court. He's at first trying to, like, be loyal to her and trying to, like, say, like, this is, you're all amateurs. You got really nothing on this right now. But then eventually he admits, like, okay, yeah, I see I'm beat. Like, there really isn't nothing I can do. Like, I just want to take care of my wife. That's about it. Like, I've been doing everything by the book, and the fact that I could still be exposed for it, that's not fair. So he will help them out, getting them the photos and whatever they need to at least give the brothers a fighting chance. So that, whatever the case. So he heads over back to the lady's house. He goes into actually, no, not yet. So at the same time, we cut to Monday already. I forgot if there was any scenes in between. I think there was, but so yeah, we come to Monday. It's basically a brutal day for Perry and his team because, like, right now they are unable to do anything. They have to just stay put, let the gun speak its truth, and literally that kind of like sealed the deal for the entire, like, the actual case right now, because again they don't have time to present anything else. And again, Perry doesn't have any more witnesses to use, so he's done. He's basically done with this whole case. But at the same time, thankfully, the guy goes over to the lady's house. He retrieves everything that he needs out of her. He gets cornered by her briefly, scared that he might be caught, but thankfully she does not ask him, like, what are you doing? Like, what's in your bag, and so to speak, that sort of thing. He's just following procedures in order, and she still trusts him with her whole life, so everything is secure to sound. So they make the transfer. He gives Perry everything he needs to, like, assist him on it, whatever, direction he decides to take the case going forward. He gives the photos to the DA, and the DA is like, okay, fine. I'm thankful you did this. However, I can't drop all the charges. That's impossible. The best I can do is one of them will be drop charges, whoever it may be, preferably whoever did the killing blow. The other one will be scot-free. The one who does get sentenced to guilty will get 30 years, no parole. They don't really have much of a choice. They really don't. This is the best deal they're going to get, so they agree. They take the deal. And now they got to figure out which of the brothers is going to take the deal. So they head down to the jail cells. The whole family's there, and they did express, like, okay, yeah, instead of both of you going to jail for life, we did get a better deal in comparison. So they explained them the deal. The elder brothers is already like, yeah, I'm going to be the one going to jail. I'm the one who shot the gun. It's me. It's done. The younger brother is like, no, it should be me. You have a family. You have a daughter. You need to be with them. And he's like, yeah, but I'm still going to have them. Like, they'll know, like, I made the mistake. I'm going to pay for it. You shouldn't. You still have a very much brighter future than me. You should go. Again, it's the apples to oranges situation where, like, family or potential. Like, will Perry Mason be around for another 30 years? At least this iteration, I don't believe so. So I don't think we'll get to see these brothers again. But the fact of, like, those are a crucial time. The fact that he has a daughter and, like, she won't be able to see him in person until out of bars until, like, she's 30 something is, like, kind of crazy. Like, here's the context. I'm not even 30 yet. Look at the way I said this. Like, I'm getting old. I'm not 30 yet. And the fact that the fact is that she, as the daughter, won't be able to see her father on the opposite side until she's past 30 is crazy because like for me, I've lived like 25 years of my life already, 25 years plus, and the fact that like she's just still young and like 30 years is a very long time. Like it very much is, and but those are the choices they dealt with. They all agree. Okay, then he will be going to prison, and the other will be exonerated. He'll be good to go. So the deal is set. Meanwhile, at the same time, the DA talks to his ADA and says, like, yeah, this is over. Like, I made a deal separately. They're going to take the plead. And the ADA is like, no, we should proceed with the actual, the jury. We can get both of them in prison. Like, for once, the DA is actually thinking clearly. He's actually thinking reasonably. And the ADA is, let's be honest, he's an overreaching, overachieving person that's just literally trying to gain respect from his superior, which did not work at the end of the day. I think after that, I want to say, what happens after that? I want to say, yeah. So I think generally we just got back to the courtroom where, it's the plead. The elder brother pleads guilty. He does also like this is the moment where like we get like the final what actually happened that night, and as he's explaining his speech about his his actions, and he's like he never meant to like really do anything to get ahead of people. He was just trying to think of the better life for his family. He chose wrong, and because of it, like yeah. So we in the actual the flashback scene, the brothers are arriving at the dock, and the everyone's leaving except McCulchin. The elder brother, just goes ahead and like, he's just the other one's just there for like support, emotional support type of thing. He's the one who shot, and that's it. That's all said and done. And yeah, the judge declares him to be going to prison, and then the younger brother's like free to go. And honestly, yeah, it is a heartbreaking scene at the end of the day because like you see a wife who lost her husband. Like I mean, again, like in 30 years from now, it's a long time. A lot can happen in 30 years. I'm being honest. Again, a lot can happen in like even 20 years, 10 years. Like but hopefully love will prevail, and then she will be there for him when he does come out. I mean, thankfully the younger brother still has his sister-in-law, his mom, his niece to support him. He won't be fully alone. But again, it does suck because like again, 30 years is a very long time, and it does really much. It destroyed this family. Like they're still together, but like it destroyed them, and it does really suck. But at the end of the day, Perry and Della did the best they could to help them out. Before we get to the overall like ending, like rigmarole, not the rigmarole, like, just the ending of like what happens now with the characters now that the case is over. Drake gets a visit from the rich dude he actually got jailed by in the beginning of the season, after their brief interaction a couple episodes ago. He's like he remembers his skill, like how he got him like shot in the knee basically with those photos. He's like, I still have big plans for this community, but I'm still getting a lot of pushback by the politicians. So if you can get me any reasonable evidence against them, I'll pay you a pretty penny. So it's actually again more guaranteed work for Drake because like there's always politicians who was doing like really stupid stuff. Again, back then and now. I'm sorry to say. So yeah, so we get back to the jury house. The DA still putting him a show, like saying like, yeah, we did it, we did our job. Like the elder brother, he's gonna be setting an example for the future to like never do this stuff again, or else you will get punished. Which I'm like, it kind of does suck. He's a martyr and he's a scapegoat, but they have to play the cards where it is. A smaller crowd interviews Perry and Della. Perry still hopes that like maybe they'll get some sort of like repeal down the road, but right now they're just gonna consider themselves kind of a victory. They saved one brother. They couldn't save the other, but like, you take your victories where you can. Even though, yeah, I know it's a serious case, but like, I'm still saying. But Perry passes over the baton to Della, kind of giving her the chance of the spotlight since, Della was the one to like really, deliver a blow to McCullen's reputation and everything. So the the reporters have a little bit of time with her. Perry goes to see Drake quickly. Again, Perry's about to go to jail for 4 months, so by the time Perry comes out, there will still be work for Drake for whatever the next case will be. But Drake's like, you know what? This case specifically, it took a lot out of me. I know that this is not the most guaranteed line of work I want to be in, so I have to think about my family now. Right now, this entire ordeal did not benefit my family. It didn't benefit anyone at all, in terms of just, where I want to go career-wise. So I'm gonna back out of you. So, but I still appreciate the support. Obviously, they're still gonna be friends, but like, you know, Drake isn't gonna be around. It's similar to Strickland from last season. We're like, yeah, they're still gonna. I'm pretty sure Drake, if we get a season 3, he'll be around, but it won't be like a more consistent thing where like he's teaming up with Perry on a daily basis. You know, it'll be a different thing. And then I think from there, yeah, there was a brief comment during the Della being interviewed that like, you know, Della's love life, because apparently that's what everyone cares about. Hey, you're in the limelight now. Who are you dating? Who are you fucking? Who are you marrying? And of course, obviously, Della doesn't want to admit that she's seeing Anita, so she's like, oh, I mean, husband is like a long time away. A long time away. Perry Della do a victory drink at his apartment, just reflecting on just how things are going. We get a brief shout out from Sean. Damn, I forgot his name. It's freaking Bob from Stranger Things, the freaking grocery guy. I literally had Sonny from earlier this season, like just like finishing that up. Like I'm actually bummed we didn't get to see Sonny back for the finale. I'm really bummed. They just finished up. They finished up all the paperwork for that. But the thing of importance in this moment is that Perry, when he was doing his closing arguments in the trial, that yeah, at the end of the day, he fought his hardest. Obviously, he wasn't able to present everything that he really wanted to do, but he did try his hardest. However, the system is broken. He knew that most of the jurors came into this case already assuming the brothers are guilty. They did not want to listen to the impartial evidence. They did not want to have an open perspective. They just believed right away the brothers are guilty because that's what the media told us. That's what the politicians tell us. Then that's it. And that's how it is. And sadly to say, that system is still kind of broken to this day. That, in my opinion, at least. And you know that is, you know, continue the notion of like, you know, where does Perry go from here? You know, when he does come out of jail, where does that direction go to? Like, you know, what would be that, you know, next move, so to speak. So yeah, we get to the next day, and you know, Perry's just saying his final goodbye. And what I mean by final goodbye is just final goodbye. He leaves his apartment, packs a bag, which I'm like, Perry, did you pay for 4 months of rent? Because I don't think the landlord's gonna hold your apartment over for 4 months. At least I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that in my instance. He goes to visit Ginny to apologize to her. Not really apologize, but more like just admit, like, yeah, I made a mistake. It was another guy. I shouldn't have yelled at you like that. Ginny's just standing there very quietly, just accepting Perry's, you know, excuses and, you know, apologies. But, you know, he does admit, like, yeah, I'm going to jail right now, so I at least want to let you know that before I go away. But Ginny does offer him a little bit of, you know, hope that, like, hey, 4 months from now, it'll be autumn, so Montana or Milwaukee, I forgot which state she mentioned, like, it's good in the fall. But there's no final kiss, there's no anything. Perry's like, see you later. Or, like, goodbye for now. And I'm like, interesting, but expected. I think it falls in line with things. And then, yeah, that's basically it. Perry doesn't even say goodbye to his son, at least on camera, though. I'm pretty sure he did say goodbye to him when off camera. I'm like, it's kind of weird, like, you introduce the son, you introduce the mother of your child, and you don't get, like, a goodbye scene with them. Again, we're in streaming time. HBO can go longer than an hour. It doesn't matter. Hell, this episode was only, like, 48 minutes. I'm like, you could have squeezed that in. Like, if you're gonna say, like, it hurts to fall the episode, nah, you gotta acknowledge that. But, that, you know, yeah, I forgot to mention, like, Della goes to see the rich lady again, letting her know, like, yeah, I know everything. Like, you know, I may not have been able to prove it in court right now, but I know everything. So definitely, I'm not on your side. I'm definitely not going to be in your courthouse anytime soon. I'm definitely not going to help you with anything. And of course, she's playing, like, the mastermind role of, like, okay, you say that now, but I'm like, you know, I'm still out of here. You know, I killed a bad man. I'm basically clean as a whistle. There's nothing you can prove it to me about that. Which I'm like, again, like, you know, the accountability factor. But, like, yes, even though she did organize the entire thing, the brother still took the job and everything, and he's still dead. So there isn't really much we can really do about that. The brothers knew what they were getting into, so it's not entirely out of their, you know, accusers as well. But, you know, they'll just say, like, you know, eventually, someday. And federal officials show up to her doorstep to, like, you know, interrogate her about something. I don't know if it was related to that case or whatsoever, but we leave it there for now. Strickland escorts Perry to the jailhouse to begin his sentence. He gives him a piece of advice of, like, you know, when you're inside, just be Perry Mason. Don't be Perry Mason, attorney at law. Just be Perry Mason, because every goon there will be asking you for favors for once you get out. You'll be trying to help them. And Perry's like, I don't know. He's like very nonchalant. He's like 4 months. It's not bad. 4 months isn't bad. It's already April. Like April's almost over. Like 2023. We just had New Year's Eve like 4 months ago. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. So they bid farewell. Perry's clocks in, gives them all of his belongings, puts on the same jail uniforms the brother had. We get like a bit of a block of sorts where like we cut back into everyone else from the season, almost everyone. Still nothing from Perry's son and his ex-wife, or even the pilot. Like literally, they just ditched a lot of the season 1 cast for no reason. All jokes aside, we see the detective that they teamed up with. He destroys the boat, or at least one of the remaining boats, with a Matava cocktail. I know I said that wrong, but still. Della and the air posing as dating to hide their secret love lives, while Della's still seeing Anita, personally speaking. The younger brother is actually got into the art institution, as we saw back a couple of episodes ago. So he's practicing that, and I'm like, dude, this guy is a freaking painter. He's got a future in arts. Like maybe he can buy his brother out of jail. Who knows? But definitely, and also they moved to a proper apartment with the money they got from the murder. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess they have a much more cushier life right now, so to speak. What happens after that? What happens after that? Is there anything else of notice? Yeah, no, really. Like, yeah, Drake is now working for the rich entrepreneur, gaining dirt on everyone. He and his wife are still living with her brother-in-law for now. Hopefully this will definitely mean guaranteed money, hopefully speaking. And yeah, Perry begins his 4-month sentence at the jailhouse. He pins a photo of him and Ginny on the wall, which I'm like, when the hell did you guys take that photo? I really don't know. And again, he's just nonchalant about it. He's just like, 4 months is going to pass by around. We'll pick up the story again. We'll pick up the season right up. We'll pick up it with a new story. But yeah, but that was it for this season of Perry Mason. That was it for this episode. And that's a wrap on Perry Mason Season 2. Again, for me, personally speaking, I was actually surprised they actually went through with Perry going to jail. I was actually pretty surprised. It's like, it's not often when people like say like, oh, I'm going to jail or I'm going to die, and like it never really happens. Like and again, 4 months isn't bad. If they would have said 4 years, which I'm like, if that was gonna be a knock on the window of like, yeah, we're not gonna come out Season 3 for like 4 years, so get ready. Which I'm like, Jesus, like 4 years. Nah, I'm hoping to speak with the current writing team that we'll be able to like expedite the process, like maybe end of next year if we're lucky. Actually, well, take your time, but so to speak. But yeah, so. And like I said before the jump, they omitted a lot of things. They didn't give a lot of they didn't give a lot of sort of conclusions with this season, so to speak. Like, yeah, the McCullens, we've gotten teases over. We got the general idea of things, but like we didn't feel emotionally. I felt more emotionally attached with the brothers than the McCullen, which I'm like, I guess that was the purpose. But I'm like, if you're painting the McCullens as like evil entities too, and you don't really like do anything like really massive. Like, okay, yeah, there was the scene back in the like in the midway point where like the elder like basically like teaches like one of the money grubbers a lesson in the plan, which I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a good scene, but I'm like, we're not gonna see enough of like one scene. It can be powerful, but like with a TV show, like you need kind of more moments like that to like really showcase the threat that is the season, and having it be the rich lady at the end of the day, which I'm like, I could have seen that coming. I really could have. I didn't pay attention to it, mind you. I thought this was just like expanding like the lore of the world, so to speak. So it definitely was a twist in my opinion. But she definitely gives me the vibes of like we will get to see more of her in a Season 3. Like she'll be involved somehow, most likely or not. Then again, it could just be like the same thing like the Season 1, like a related cast where like it's just there for this season, and then we'll probably never get to hear from them again. Like it could be that way too. The brothers, I think, got the most realistic conclusion whatsoever. I was actually thankful they didn't get to show the elder brother in prison. I feel like that would have been much more depressing. I do really feel bad for him though. I really do. Like the fact that he's going to be stuck there for 30 years. That's a long time. The fact that we didn't get even a scene with Perry's son in this. I was like, okay. That was kind of like the whole leeway, like a good parts of the season, like trying to show Perry as a father, trying to show him of like he's growing as a person, which again, we did get episodes of that. We did. I'm not trying to excuse that, but like when you're wrapping up your story You kind of need to like have these moments of like acknowledgments of like, you know, hey, we remember this. Don't worry about it. Like we definitely remember this. But the fact that we didn't even get that was like, you know, this one, and even the scene with Ginny, which was like weirdly paced. Like Ginny got yelled, like you got yelled at. You got like basically accused by your boyfriend that you did this thing, and he's like, I'm sorry. The weakest I'm sorry I've ever heard. And you're like, yeah, 4 months from now, let's go to Montana and like, you know, have a weekend together. Which I'm like, Ginny, there are better men than Perry Mason. I'm sorry to say there are better men, but again, as very very like not so layered their relationship was this season, it kind of does make sense. This was the ending for now. They got like, I'll see you later. Will we see them later? I don't know. It's like questionable. Like, did we really need this character? Like, again, I understand like everything's important, but like when you're trying to write the season to be like a standalone season of like, you don't really need to like depend on another season, whether it's past or future, to support these characters whatsoever. When you're advertising this as a standalone season, I kind of have to point logic into that. But I will say on the positive front, like, yeah, it definitely does, you know, humanize Perry even more, realizing that the way he's been living the past now, like 7 or 8 months, is kind of not the full version that he needs to get. Definitely he's going to have to do some readjustments on his life going forward. Della kind of, you know, getting a tease of like taking center stage of, you know, being a lawyer. And, you know, again, obviously, again, like maybe next season, hopefully we'll get to see her, like, you know, take more of the ropes down the road. We'll see about that, how that turns out. Drake definitely got more of an emotional journey this time around at the end. And I don't know why I'm speaking this like a season 2 review, so to speak. But yeah, but this episode definitely does make him aware of like his actions. He definitely, you know, stopped himself before he goes down anything darker, anything more like, you know, crueler than he did a couple episodes ago. So that was, that goes with notice. But for overall speaking, like, this was still a good finale. It just didn't wrap up everything perfectly. As much as I'm like, yeah, I don't never depend on the next season to wrap up your work for this season. It is what it is at this point, and I feel like this just serves as a good end to a good season of Perry Mason. So for that being said, I'm going to give this episode 1.5 thumbs up. I still enjoyed it, but, you know, it definitely could have been much better. But let me know in the comments below what you think of the season finale of Perry Mason. Let's have a conversation down below. And I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the second season of Perry Mason. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two besides our Perry Mason episode reviews. Right now, we're currently doing Rookie Feds, and Walker episode reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on their respective platforms. But if you don't care about Perry Mason in terms of your new content, this is the end of the road for now. Hopefully not for another 3 years. Hopefully we'll get to see season 3 if we do get one much earlier than expected. But we shall see about that in the coming months. But we are not done with Perry Mason content yet for this channel for this season. Next week we'll be doing a season 3 predictions video, which I'll be predicting stuff I would like to see from the characters going into a third season. Hopefully speaking. And then the week afterwards, we'll be doing a season 2 review, non-spoiler edition for anyone who has yet to catch out the entire second season that will be available on HBO Max starting tonight. But yeah, but until then, yeah, but if this is just the end of the road, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support as always. And hopefully we'll get to do another round of this in the future. Hopefully not when I'm 30. Hopefully when I'm not 30. That's the bar we're setting here. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Ring the bell for notification when our next video is live. Like, favorite, share if you want to, and follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, for all you Masoners out there, thank you so much for the last 8 weeks of fun, of a new case, of seeing these characters again after so long. Hopefully we won't have to say that again anytime soon. But until then, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.